Hello and welcome to another episode of Moments of Consequence, our battle report series, featuring Jake and Casey playing Chaos, Undivided, and Wood Elves. We will get you right into the action. Without further ado, let's get into it.
All right, Casey and I are here with a 3,000 point battle. We've got a Chaos Undivided army facing off against a Wood Elf army. It's actually Casey's list from last time. We're just didn't have time to make a new list, but I've got a new list, so here we go. Casey, you want to go through your units quickly?
Yeah, I've got 12 archers, 5 sisters of the thorn, 5 war dancers with shields, unit of archers that's joined by my level 3 gray wizard on a unicorn, and then a level 1 mage with high magic. A unit, back behind the forest is the dragon being ridden by a hero. And then in the front is a unit of rangers joined by the lord, who's the general, a treeman next to them, treekin behind the hut, 5 war dancers with additional hand weapons and a banner and a hero, warhawk riders with a champion, and then 10 glade riders on the hill.
Okay, and on the Chaos Undivided side, got 5 demonettes on steeds of Slanesh, 6 knights, a unit of warriors with a chaos lord, an abomination who has wings and some pretty maxed out looking stats, 10 ungors, a warrior chariot, another big unit of warriors with a sorcerer lord with a warrior familiar and champion, some discs of Tzeentch, some pink horrors, and marauder horsemen with a champion. Right, so Wood Elves got turn 1, and what a turn 1 it was. So the elves were quite effective at killing some units this turn. So the demonettes that were on Steeds of Slanesh were eliminated from shooting and magic. And as were the Marauder Horsemen. A Hail of Doom Arrow killed all 4 of them, leaving the champion. And I guess most notably, the Glade Riders had positioned themselves with their Vanguard move to flank charge the Pink Horrors that were positioned to enter the stables. And they took out the Pink Horrors, which was a huge move for the Wood Elves. Because the Pink Horrors had the Drum of Change, which was loaded with the Fire of Tzeentch and Incandescent Assassin. So that would have just made the Chaos magic phase so much scarier. So that was very big, and it was a close one, but they got it. Magic phase, the chaos spells were all dispelled until the last one, which was a Chalice of Sorcery, Arnizipple's Black Horror, which was just ended up just shy of the War Dancers with the hero. Anything I forgot, Casey?
I don't think so.
Okay, so just had Chaos turn 1. It was, I would say, not a strong rebuttal to the Wood Elf turn 1. The champion charged the Glade Riders and killed 1, but actually lost the combat, failed his check, and was run down, so that was a big disappointment. The Vengeance was not successful. So the other warrior unit with the Sorcerer Lord entered the stables that the Pink Horrors were intended to go into. Chariot rumbled forward, Abomination moved forward and torched 3 War Dancers. The Knights are kind of bracing for the Dragon to charge them because they really kind of couldn't get out of the way and decided they could probably manage to kill the Rider. And the other big unit of Chaos Warriors with the Chaos Lord moved into this cottage, and in the magic phase, it was a very low roll. The Wood Elf Doomfire Ring killed the Screamers, the remaining Screamers, and the Chaos Doomfire Ring was dispelled. And then the Arnizipple's Black Horror, which was cast last turn, the War Dancers failed their natural dispel, but then they basically all but one passed their strength tests. So, and now it's at the edge of the battlefield. So they were able to dance their way out of the tentacles, apparently. So yeah, that's end of Chaos turn 1. So Chaos are in 2 buildings. The Treekin are in the 3rd building. So the Wood Elves are certainly dominating the kill count, but the Chaos have the objective. All right, Wood Elf turn 2. So starting on this flank, the Forest Dragon charged the Chaos Knights. Killed 2, but then they managed to kill the rider. The dragon rolled high on the table but failed its break test, so it is fleeing. Knights rolled very low on their pursuit. The general's unit moved up, and then the sorcerer did a crazy wood elf maneuver and positioned himself between the chariot and abomination. Many shots were taken at the abomination in shooting and magic, and he's down to 2 wounds. And also, consequentially, in the magic phase, the Chaos Champion with the Ring of Valans cast the Bridge of Shadows on the Treeman, moved him to the edge, away from the action. The Treeman had actually put a wound on the building and killed a couple of Chaos Warriors inside, so they decided to get him out of there. So there it is, proof that teleporting is still good, even if you can't charge the next turn. So the 2 big Chaos Warrior units are still in those buildings. Treekin's still in this building, and then we've got some action in the middle. All right, Chaos, turn 2. So the Knights charged the dragon. He continued to flee. They didn't catch him, and now the Sisters of the Thorn are probably going to be able to charge the Chaos Knights. The Chaos Lord decided to leave the building. He wanted to get into the fray. These 2 units charged into the Rangers with the Lord, and the breath attack and impact hits killed about 8 Rangers, and then I think 5 more were killed in the combat. I made, I think, what was a pretty significant mistake, because I decided to put all my chariot attacks into the Lord, and only did 1 wound, and I actually probably would have done a whole bunch of wounds on several more wounds on the Rangers. They lost by 3 and passed. Casey rolled a 7, so it was just barely a pass. So it was that close. So regret my choices there. And then the magic phase was very short, with only 1 spell attempt that was dispelled. On to Wood Elf turn 3. All right, Wood Elf turn 3 was a big turn, a lot of very significant occurrences. So we'll just go from this side. So the Sisters of the Thorn charged into the flank of the Chaos Knights. They did manage to kill 1 of them, so there were no attacks back, but the Chaos Knights were able to pass their break test. The dragon rallied, so that was a big deal. And here in the combat situation here, the War Dancers charged in against the Chariot, but the Chariot used the Chaos Gift Hypnotic Gaze. So the War Dancers and the General who was lined up against the Chariot could only hit on 6s, so only 1 wound was done to the Chariot. The crew did a couple wounds. The Abomination killed 4 Rangers, and the General with 1 Ranger left broke. The War Dancers hung in there. So that was a good result for the Chaos. The Treeman is marching back towards the building. The Glade Riders charged into the Ungors, killed 5 who they fled, and then the Glade Riders rolled a very unlikely 4 for their pursuit. In the magic phase, a total power Trader of Tarn was cast on the Abomination, but I had retained the Drain Magic card previously, so I used the Drain Magic, lost a level, and saved the Abomination's honor. So Chaos turn 3. So the Knights didn't, no one died, but they fled from combat and got away. The Abomination charged in, killed the level 1 and a few other archers, but they held. The Lord charged into the War Dancers, and they danced the Shadow's Coil. This unit decided to leave the building. The Treeman is back, ready to start thwomping on it again, and they figure they're safer outside than inside. Ungors rallied, and in the magic phase, there were a couple attempts on this mage, but the unicorn's magical properties dispelled both attempts, and there was a successful cast of the Trader of Tarn on the Chaos Warriors in this cottage, but they know who they're fighting for, and they were unaffected by the tricky elf magic. Very exciting. Elf turn 4. So over here we had the Warhawk Riders face their fears and charge the Abomination. Sisters of the Thorn charge the Abomination. Basically, the Champion and a Sister of the Thorn both each did a wound to the Abomination, killing him. But I used the Regeneration Chaos Gift. He rose back to his feet and passed his break test on Leadership 5. Very eager to fight another round. On this combat that is just kind of continues to have new members jumping in, the Treekin killed the Chariot. The Chaos Lord issued a challenge and killed the War Dancer hero, but not before he did a wound to the Lord. The Lord lost the combat by 1, but that still left him with a leadership of 10, so he passed. The Treeman just kind of slyly snuck around the edge of the stables and gave it a light tap, did a wound, and these guys took out the Ungors. Maybe that was the last turn. I'm losing track. That was this turn. And the dragon charged the knights who are fleeing into the middle. And I don't think any spells went off. That was... Yeah, so we've got a vacated stables, a vacated cottage over here. Still have the big unit of Chaos Warriors in here. And just a big mess of stuff happening right here. Chaos turn 5. So the Abomination made the archers flee with his fiery breath, and then in the combat phase proceeded to kill 2 Warhawk Riders and a Sister of the Thorn, won the combat and got to turn to face. The Lord killed a Treekin and broke the Treekin, chased them down, and the War Dancers fled out of range. Knights rallied. The dragon was almost barely past this panic check for the Lord's victory. And a couple Chaos Warriors in the cottage got killed by Crown of Tadrin, which seems to be the spell of the game. And okay, Wood Elf at turn 5. Dragon charged in and killed the Knights. Another Sister of the Thorn fell. The Treeman put 3 wounds on the building, so it's actually down to 1. There was some magical dueling. There was a mental duel and the mage took a wound. Otherwise, weathered all the spells one way or another. And stuff rallied. All these units rallied that fled last turn. So at the middle of turn 5, there's Chaos Warriors still in this cottage. This building and this building are unoccupied, and this building's almost destroyed. All right, Chaos turn 5. So really rolled low with the Abomination on his attacks, and he actually lost the combat by 2. Only has leadership 6, but continued his low rolls to pass his leadership test. And he is down to 1 wound. They did do a wound on him. This unit's moving towards this cottage. So the Chaos Lord drew the gift of flight. So he was all the way over here, and he just made a massive flying attack against the treemen. And then really rolled pretty bad for his attacks, and didn't do any wounds. The treemen, well, I guess what did you actually didn't do your attacks?
I did do my attacks and I missed.
Oh, he missed.
So you had
Casey did his
message.
Oh yeah. So I used the other gift, Hideous Visage, which is a -2 to hit. I was noticed by the Chaos Gods, and they granted me another wound. And then the Magic Phase, couple Glade Riders and a cottage dwelling Chaos Warrior died. And we did roll a turn 6. Okay, so we have played all of turn 6. This is the end stage of the battle, state of the battle. So the in the Elf turn 6, the Dragon and Glade Riders charged the Warrior unit with the Sorcerer Lord, and broke them, ran them down. That was about 900 points tallied up for the Elves. And then over here, the War Dancers all charged in against the Abomination and finally brought it down. That was another 300 points. So a huge swing in points, 1,200 points. And then the nothing too big, the Chaos Warrior, Chaos Lord kind of hacked away at the treemen and used a few gifts, but didn't get turned into Chaos Spawn. So at the end we tallied it up, and it was within 63 points because the Chaos are still in this cottage, so they got the objective. The other 2 were empty, but the Wood Elves took out almost the entire Chaos army. All that's left is this 1 unit and the Lord. So there's only about 600 points of Chaos on the table, but the 1,500 points from getting the objective evened it out. So it was a dead tie. So a very hard-fought battle. A lot of stuff that hung in there till the end, or almost to the end. And yeah, thanks for watching. All right, we are here on the post-battle room.
Yeah,
I guess
the lounge.
The lounge, yeah. Wow, what a grueling battle. We're probably gonna sound a little incoherent because it's late. That was
almost 1 a.m.
It's almost 1 a.m. It was a really I don't know. It's the most grueling battle I've played in a long time. It was just it really kind of just kept going and going, and it was like one of those slugs, just slugfest. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not any fiddling about. If we kind of got right into it and just kept slamming units into each other, and
there's never a point where one side just broke the other side.
Yeah, it was a very
overall
even match.
I guess arguably until turn 6 when you killed 1,200 points.
Yeah, you were kind of in the lead, especially because you were holding the objective, and then I was able to tie it up at the end just by killing some stuff. But yeah, it was kind of a tough battle for the Wood Elves, just from my planning perspective, what I was trying to do that battle, because I was I really can't fight your warriors in the buildings. So my plan at the beginning of the battle was to use the dragon and the treemen to just destroy the buildings that you were in, and or use magic to bring the unit size of your units down below 5.
Mm.
And yeah, pretty quickly my dragon became just kind of lost his rider and became just a out of control dragon, and was fleeing for a bit.
Yep. And could have fled off the table.
Could have, yeah, very easily could have fled off the table. And I certainly didn't have magic dominance, so it was definitely going to be hard to whittle down your units with spells.
Mm.
So yeah, it was kind of tricky figuring out how I actually had a path to victory, but it ended up by just being by at least drawing by killing all those points in turn 6.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one of the other really crucial things to mention that you did was killing the pink horrors on turn 1.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that was just such a huge deal. So it was you
seems so long ago that
seems
happened.
Like another lifetime, but yeah, you vanguarded, you got first turn, you charged them in the flank.
Popped them.
They failed their break test, not by a lot. I think it was by 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was by 1. And because they had the Drum of Change, they had 2 spells that were just
that would have
been so bad. It would have made my magic phase really powerful. They would have been in a building, which would have made them really tough to deal with. You wouldn't have been able to shoot them, which was the greatest vulnerability. It was just huge that you killed them. And then you also killed the demonettes on the steeds,
the screamers before they could
and
do
the Marauder
anything.
Horsemen and the
the Marauder
screamers. So
Horsemen.
you wiped out a lot right away. And then I think my tougher stuff did have then in the mid battle, I think it was turn 3 when I double charge with my chariot and abomination, and then that whole mess took a long time, but I think all slowly went in my favor. Where I killed the rangers, killed your lord, my lord got involved, killed your war dancer hero, killed the treekin.
Yeah,
it did kind of all turn up by turn go in my direction. So that was a big deal. And then
I think I underestimated what it would be like to have the chariot, because I kind of was well, it's a cheapo chariot, didn't have side wheels or a character or anything. And then the abomination, I just kind of underestimated those 2 double charging my rangers.
Mm-hmm.
So that went pretty poorly.
Yeah. And it definitely helped when I could then charge the archers with the level 1.
Yep.
With the abomination, although then that led to another really protracted situation. I killed the level 1 right away, which was nice, because that level 1 with high magic and the Staff of 3 Sisters is just the most powerful magic defense.
Yeah.
It's so good
Yeah.
to just be able to get as many dispels as you need, at least probably, and then have a 3+ dispel. And then I had a really powerful magic phase, but with all of your natural dispels and that, I don't really feel like I got much.
You barely got anything of consequence off.
Yeah, I don't really remember any spell that was oh nice. It was
yeah, not really.
I
I didn't get a ton of stuff of consequence off.
No, you
either.
didn't. No,
Just got small stuff.
but yeah, some crowns of Tadra.
Yeah,
but for how I felt like we both had powerful, magic.
we both had 4 levels of magic, and then you also had the pink horrors that they didn't really get to do anything.
We both had Doomfire rings. I had the chalice, which amazingly never ran out.
Yeah,
but
you used it all phases, but
I
think
almost every time I used it, it just hit a natural dispel. So it was kind of an odd. Yeah, the amount of spells attempted to cast was quite the ratio of, spells not cast. So
yeah. How did you feel about your army list?
I liked it. I really liked the big abomination with maxed out stats. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was a great model to use gifts on. It's sort of hard to judge the units that died right away, because I'm kind of well, they didn't do anything, but
they didn't have a chance to do
they didn't have a chance to do anything. So I don't know. I like the 2 big units of warriors. I thought that was really, for 3,000 points, I think units that are like 18 strong is really appropriate for the point.
Because you get in like
Cost.
these big protracted combats, like not so
Yeah.
much in this battle they didn't, but
But they got like shot up and
yeah.
yeah, no, I like that. I like the knights.
They were
Just
tough.
with that 1+ armor save, yeah, they're really tough, even against like your dragon. And liked my lord, liked my sorcerer. Yeah, I think like the core like tough stuff I was like really happy with, and then a lot of the units that were more peripheral chaff kind of units. I mean, they didn't fare too well, but I don't know if that's like because they weren't good choices. It was
I think that's just like
matchup dependent, and
my
sort of-
army is like really good at killing chaff units and really bad at fighting
Mhm.
the big core units. So
Yeah, so it's
it kind of makes sense that those are the units I targeted first and killed,
yeah,
and so that's just kind of how that matchup plays out. I think
yeah, that's what I think too.
your gear setup on your lord was pretty sweet. What was it again?
So you had the Helm of Many Eyes, the Blade of Ensorcelled Iron, and Iron Hard Skin. So you had a 1-up, well, with. Oh, actually, I might have messed this up a little bit. With his shield, he had a 1-up save, but when he was fighting in combat, he actually should have only had a 2-up.
Oh,
So I might have cheated.
Jake, you cheated.
Sorry.
He should have been dead.
I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe. Maybe my lord should be dead.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, because when you first shot at him, and I was like 1-up because chaos armor, shield,
Yeah.
iron hard.
But then in combat,
but then I didn't like revise that, so apologies
yeah,
there. He had really hard skin.
whatever.
Yeah, I like that Lord setup because it's like I really like the +1 to hit, +2 strength that the Blade of Ensorcelled Iron gives you, because you really just create a lot of consistency where you are going to hit more and you're going to have a 2+2 wound most of the time. And I actually did roll pretty bad.
You rolled pretty
with him,
bad,
actually. So he wasn't like a superstar,
especially against the treeman.
He he was good in his well, yeah, he did what he had to, but he actually didn't. He certainly didn't stand out.
But his setup was good.
His setup
he
was
just
good.
like rolled pretty poorly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say the Abomination was probably my MVP.
Yeah, it was really good. And the breathing fire like really came
Mhm.
up a handful of times. It was quite good.
Yep.
Like that. I mean, when you just killed like 6 rangers or something,
Oh yeah.
it's like that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked my army. The Sisters of Thorn, I think, are a really interesting, fun unit, but for the amount of points they are, they just don't pack enough punch, even with the Banner of Great Deeds. They kind of, against tough stuff, they...
Yeah. They're probably better for like less tough stuff.
Yeah, that's
Than
definitely
Chaos
true.
Knights.
Yeah.
Where
So-
they're like hitting on 4s, like wounding on 4s at best,
But then
and
you
then
have
it's
this, like-
then it's a 2-up save.
But if you're fighting like less tough stuff, you're also have this really expensive unit that you're like putting up against crappy stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of I think that's one of the units that I think is really fun, but may not be actually that good. But the Rangers didn't have a good battle, but I like them as a unit. The Dragon was really fun.
Yeah, Dragon was.
The 10 Glade Riders with the Banner of Springtide, I think, is so good. They were just so awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, the mage setup with the level 1 high magic with the Staff of Three Sisters and then the level 3 gray on the unicorn, I just think is like a very sweet setup.
Yeah.
Like good defense, good offense.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Their defense is
pretty ridiculous.
very good.
Yeah.
And we didn't have many. So we did use the new teleport rule where you can't teleport and charge.
Yeah,
And
and I
it
had
didn't
the Bridge
really-
of Shadows, and
And I had the Ring of Olens with Bridge of Shadows, so I used it. I used mine to move the treeman away. I did actually have an idea that I was gonna use it on my chariot and basically set up a charge against his wizard, and he would have had to flee into a building. But then I realized I couldn't do it with the new rule because it.
Yeah.
So I did actually get blocked from a character killing. Would have been a huge deal if I had been able to do that.
So what's your first blush impression of that change?
I think it's good. I mean, I think like had I done that, it would have been sort of like I don't know, like a little feels like a little bit of a cheap achievement, you know, like you can't really plan ahead for that, so it's more like if you can sneak it in, suddenly you lose your wizard. So I sort of like it better without those like totally catch you off guard
Yeah.
moments where because of something I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah.
I think it's better.
I do like it toning down how good the teleport, in your opponent's magic phase than like flank charge is.
Mm.
But it does tone it down a lot, and I'm kind of like, well, with that change, how our teleport spell's even good enough to like use that much when there's other spells that you could take or that you could use your power on.
Mm.
So I think it definitely brings them down in usefulness a lot, and I'm kind of unsure if it's maybe too much, but I think more games will tell.
Yeah. I feel pretty confident they're still very useful myself.
Yeah, but there's so much more situational. I think they're useful, but like much more situational. Whereas otherwise, in a lot of cases, you can just like get a flank charge if you get it off.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like if you get it off, you can do something interesting that might be pretty useful, but definitely not devastating in most cases.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like moving one of your units or moving one of the enemy units, I mean, it's a game of movement and positioning. Like,
Yeah.
that's a pretty big deal to
I
like.
was like thinking about how that would play out if I moved some of my units, and I was like, I don't think that would really do anything. So like I had the option to cast it a bunch of times, and
Yeah.
didn't,
Yeah.
because I was like, that's not gonna.
Yeah, it's
do
not
anything.
always a good thing to. I mean, even with the old rule, there were times when there wasn't something that
Yeah.
couldn't do. So it is like a matter of, is there an opportunity, and I think
Yeah.
in smaller point battles that can even be more true when there's just fewer units around, and
Yeah.
so and
I
it
think
is.
it like turned. So I guess my impression so far would be that it seems like it kind of turns teleport spells into like a power 2 situational spell versus like a really, really good thing to be doing. Like I would say like the way it has been is like teleport spells are like the best thing to be doing in a lot of cases.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah.
There does need to be a change, and maybe this is the right one. We'll see.
All right.
Should we call it?
Call it there.
All right. Thanks for listening.